welcome once again to Urban X-Files. My name is Keith, and today I thought I would continue the story of shadow figures, because there's a lot of people who seem to be really interested in this, and it's a growing trend to see these shadow figures. And this is a person's experience of a shadow figure. They say that they became aware of the shadows shortly after moving into his new house in New Jersey. They said that their daughter's playroom was located in the basement, and that they were constantly complaining that they were always seeing things moving out of the corners of their eyes. The youngest daughter had also said that they had witnessed something hovering near the ceiling. As the years went by, the owner of the house had their workshop put into the basement. They done flower arranging, and the owners of the house said that they become aware of these shadow figures because they constantly seen them out the corner of the eye. And it got to the point where the owners began to communicate with them, thinking these were able to hear or communicate again with them. And they said that they didn't see them anywhere in the house, in the kitchen, the bedrooms, the attic even. It was only in the basement. And they said that they occasionally saw them along the wall on the first floor that was between the kitchen and the back door, but they didn't see them anywhere else on the property. And even when they did see them, it was literally only a glimpse, but they were aware of their presence around. And they felt that sometimes some of these shadow entities had an evil presence. A few years after they'd moved in, it says, I told them they were not welcome in this house, and the evil presence seemed to leave. Still, that they had an uneasy feeling about them. Well, it wasn't fear. It was just that they accepted that these shadow entities were part of the house, and had several steps taken over the years to make them go away, and that they didn't work. Only once after the evil ones were told to leave and they were not welcome, that they became aware that they'd returned. And they say that they're not sure if they was evil or just upset. Now, it says that only once did it see one clearly, but it happened in a split second, and I did not see it from the top to bottom. I was walking through the breakfast room into the kitchen. The kitchen light was on, and in the corner, it was by the back door in front of the stove. I was startled. I thought someone had come into the house. It all happened so fast, but the light from behind it did not pass through it as it would if it was a shadow. It was short and stocky and appeared as a silhouette of a person. It had a head, but there were no discernible features, including no eyes, shoulders, arms, or torso. It disappeared too fast to take note, as if it had legs or feet, and they sensed that it was surprised, as I was and did not intend to be seen. Then said that one time their house had caught fire, and it was a major fire that started from a TV on the wall. And said we were out of the house for 6 months while the house was repaired. And about a week after the fire, the owners stopped by right before it started to turn dark to pick up a few things. As they came into the back porch and looked through the 6-foot hole where the window once was, they looked across the breakfast room at the basement doorway. They said that they sensed 3 shadows near the doorway. It was almost dark outside, so I did not actually see them. I also got a very bad feeling about them, and I told them to leave. I said I thought that the evil ones were still not welcome in this house, whether they liked it or not. Then I turned and left without entering the property. I was quite rattled. Whether I had this feeling because I was emotionally upset about the fire, I can't be sure. The following day I went back and it seemed that the house was full of shadows, although I only caught a glimpse of them. As usual, they were fleeing into the basement, and I'm not sure I really saw them, as there were no lights on down there, and only the light was from the window, well, the windows. It was the only time I ever sensed that they tried to communicate. It seemed that they were upset that we were not there because the house was all black, and there was no light from them in the kitchen. So these strangers in the house were obviously the workmen. So a few weeks later, burglars attempted to steal the new appliances that had been brought into the house. Everything was left in the kitchen by the kitchen rear door. My daughters and I joked that they met up with the shadows and were scared off. Who knows? And then they said that they have always been very observant, and I noticed everything around me in detail. And this is one of the kids. When I was 13, I was riding home from the supermarket with my older brother. All of a sudden, a dark figure dove out from under the car, and it happened so very quickly, but I saw it straight on. It was definitely in the shape of a man, and it seemed to appear out of nowhere. I just saw a shadow man, I said to my brother. Of course, he made a joke of it and went along with it, but it was more than a joke to me. I saw another shadow man that very night when I got out of bed to go to the bathroom. I know it was not my mind playing tricks. Another encounter is I've seen shadow people at least twice. The most recent was while I was sitting in front of the TV that was turned off. The reflection showed a dark entity seated beside me. I was annoyed, and soon it was gone. I hope I never have another experience like that again. A long time ago, I saw what appeared to be a man wearing a top hat who moved in the shadows of a great large building. He appeared to look almost like a phantom, appearing though he wore a sail mast consisting of an electrical magnetic signals. Don't know what that means. Now this one is a little bit different. This is another experience. It says blue shadow people or dimensional travelers. I have reoccurring visitations from a life form that I call the blue people. They don't really look like humans though. They are about 4 feet tall. They walk erect on legs, but the knees bend backwards. They have 4 fingers and 2 thumbs and roughly the same configuration on their feet. The toes and fingers are all webbed. They have no shoulders or no neck. They just go up from the shoulders into a bulbous head. The face consists of 3 crescents that are arched down like a grimace, the shortest on top with the longest at the bottom, and they are all blue. They have visited me for about 5 years now, and to my knowledge, they come late at night while everything is quiet. The first thing and the thing that wakes me is a high-pitched whine. That is followed by a white light that appears through the wall, the door, or wherever they are chose to enter from. They came in through the light when it opens enough for them to pass through. I was quite scared at first and thought that I was having a lucid nightmare. Later though, when they returned several times, I realized that they were benevolent and only curious about this world. They would walk about my room, look at things and try to touch things. And for a long time, when I tried to speak to them, they would rush back into the light and disappear. I tried everything to set up some type of communication. Only recently did I have a breakthrough of sorts. When I opened my mouth to speak, one of them rushed over and put his hand on my mouth. I got quite a shock. And it touched my eyes, and then touched my ears, then it touched the 3 crescents, then I touched its 3 crescents on its face. One thing I must interject is that they have no physical form here. I mean, they are kind of like ghosts. So when I say they touched me, it wasn't like really being touched. It took me a while to put it all together, but I have done so, and the message is that they see with sound. My voice blinded them and scared them. It even have possibly injured them. I think that they are dimensional explorers, and I think that they would like to communicate, and I'm working on different approaches to doing that. Is that person's experience. And I'll give you a few more experiences of shadow people that people have noted on this page that I've found about shadow people. This one is called Smokey and Shapeless. I've been seeing something similar to shadow people for a long time now, although the shadows I see don't look like people exactly, and they are in the bottom corners of the house. I see them from the corner of my eye, and they seem to be smoky, but they are shapeless, and as soon as I look ahead at them, they vanish, or they usually go around the corner. I definitely get a malevolent feeling from them, though I always believed them to be demons, and I still do, as I don't believe in life after death or aliens and ghosts. I am seeing a psychiatrist for clinical depression, and finally told him about this experience as it began to bother me. I told him I thought I was going crazy, and of course he immediately put me onto some somatic crazy drugs, they said, and they also asked if I heard voices, which I thought was crazy. I haven't been on the drug long enough to see if it will change me seeing them. Somehow I get the feeling, just having told someone, that I won't see them anymore. Would that be the placebo effect? Now, this is a bit of a strange experience, as if you were to go to any psychiatrist or doctor and say you were seeing figures floating about and you were trying to interact with things that aren't there, they would most likely think you were crazy or had some sort of mental health condition. While I guess some of these would be true, they would come through it will come under a mental health thing. Now, I would just like to add my worth here, that as I worked in the hospital, so I was quite familiar with mental health and various disorders, and I would often talk to people who'd had these experiences. Some people would say that they was able to see these demons and entities, and that they believed them to be demons and entities, and they were that fearful that although they were on psychotic medication, they would regularly attend church. And I do actually think there is a link between the people who've got certain mental health conditions and these shadow demonic type entities, as there are quite a lot of people who report similar things. Now, I don't want to say that these people are actually crazy, because obviously I believe in the paranormal, otherwise I wouldn't investigate these strange things. Now, I also have often wondered if these people who see these things have something missing that everyday people do, where we say the term ignorance is bliss. You don't believe in the paranormal, you don't believe in ghosts or whatever, and that's fine, so you just go about your daily life. But there are people out there who will tell you and swear blind that they see these things. They will even pass lie detector tests to say that they see these things. I wonder if there is some sort of chemical imbalance or structure somewhere, the way they are wired, that enables people to see these things. Now, bear with me a minute. I just want to say, like, for example, now as obviously you know, I film things as well as doing spooky videos and paranormal investigation. I film weddings and all kinds of different events, and I've even filmed funerals, believe it or not. And when I shoot things for paranormal investigations, I will shoot in special cameras that have had certain filters removed, most commonly the IR filter. Now the IR filter is infrared. Now this is removed so that it lets in all of the light. So our eyes only see in certain light spectrums. So when the IR filter is removed, it makes it look like pinky. So when you see me investigate on videos and it's got like a pinky color to it, that's called full spectrum. So it's had all the light filters removed, so that's how it sees. And the green night vision one is the infrared filter that's removed. So these filters will filter out anything on those light spectrums. Is this the same for people? Certain people can see things that others can't. Is this a similar thing where they are able to remove that filter that lets them see spirits? I don't know. That's just a little theory that I sort of come along on my own. Now, this one is shadow people with a Ouija board, and their experience is as follows. I'm pretty sure the shadow people are demons. One night I was having a party and I had just gotten a Ouija board for my birthday. Everyone talked me into using it, so we started to play. Then weird stuff started happening. Shadow figures started to appear in my room. A lot of shadow people. And it wasn't any of our shadows. These were different. Some of them had red eyes. Then red orbs started to come through my room. We made a protective circle and we all tried to stay in it. It got really cold in my room and we could all see our breath. If some of my friends couldn't see the shadow people, they could certainly feel them. There was an all-out evil feeling in the room. We all got too freaked out to move. We were just like, whoa. And then one of the shadow people changed. They got all scary looking. I can't explain it. But I don't want to go into detail. Let's just say Pumpkinhead, the demon guy from scary movies, although his head is not pumpkin. So we screamed and finally ran out of the room. My parents thought we were crazy. That night when I went to bed, my closets were glowing red and orbs were going through my room. We couldn't get to sleep until like 5 a.m. And even then, we only slept for an hour or two. It was really freaky, and the stuff didn't die down until a while later. And the last time I used the Ouija board and refused to use it again. In fact, I threw it somewhere deep down in one of my closets. Now, I only use psychic circles, and even that has consequences, but I'm not allowed to use it anymore because of what happened to me, my friend and my mum said. But that is for another story. So that's the stories of shadow figures. I hope you enjoyed this extension on shadow figures and experiences. If you would like to hear more, please do let me know, as I enjoy these myself. But for now, take care and see you all in the next video.